Okay, guys. So I had a friend, coworker, whatever, ask me earlier if I had some change that I could lend him. So my joke was, no, I work here, so I don't have any money. And he's like, don't give me that because I know you got your 401k and there's X amount of dollars in there. I'm not going to say what it is, but I told him, I said, I'm not liquid, and what that means for me is my situation is currently, I don't want to say broke, but we'll just say broke. And what that means is I'm saving for when I'm not going to be able to be as productive as I'd like to be. When the later years start to set in, you slow down a little bit and you want to enjoy all the hard work that you've put in. So this is where I talk to guys all the time about get your savings going. When you get hired in, look into that 401k, take advantage of your benefits, take advantage of the things that's going to make your financial situation now worth it later on. Struggle now, struggle while you're strong. That's where you grow, that's where you build, that's where you have these moments and these triumphs that set you up for successes later. Now it's okay to fail now. I'm not saying don't go out and spend a little, maybe have buyer's remorse, because you learn from that as well. But there is something to be said about that long-term savings. There's, setting yourself up. And I know a lot of people I've talked to, they don't necessarily believe in it, and that's fine. It's not for everyone. But I can tell you firsthand that what I started saving in my 20s was definitely worth it by the time I needed it later on down the road. And I've gone through this with other people who started their 401ks based off of conversations that we've had. I'm not saying that they did it because I did it, but they definitely benefited from the 401k when it came time for them to need something like purchasing a house or any other area where you can borrow against it, pay yourself back. Most of the time it's tax-free. There's so many benefits to it. And it's not just being in a 401k. If you just want to open up your own accounts, if you want to just put money aside, but I definitely recommend having it into something where there's a matching scheme. So my employer matches, a certain amount that I put in up to a certain percentage. That's great. So now you're getting extra money just for saving your money. And if you stay long enough, not only do you get your money, but you get theirs as well. So if you're going to be at a job, you might as well be doing it in a capacity that's going to benefit you the best way that it possibly can. And that's just in savings. Now, there's just something to be said about not spending. Don't spend it as soon as you get it. That's a big portion and a big piece to this as well. Being able to be disciplined enough to say, you know what, as much as I want to be able to do this or that, I'm not going to. I would want to, but I need to save a little bit more. I need to see what my financial future is going to look like. And if it's not immediate, where you can say clearly based off of my education or the position that I have in a company, which by the way are no guarantees, then you're still going to want to make sure that you are saving for a rainy day, a proverbial rainy day. And if that rainy day never comes, then you still have the ability to put that into your long-term savings. So maybe it's never a rainy day and you can just make your days more filled with sunshine because you're not worried as much because you've started saving. It can be a small amount. Just put it $5, $10 into a separate account. Do something along those lines. If you are a young, single, parentless, person, and I'm not just saying men, but generally this is for men. And the reason this is generally for men is because most of the time men don't have other people giving their resources to them in a capacity like that. So it's not to say that the other side and women or people who receive resources are weaker. It just means that this is just our struggle. This is where we have to compete. This is where we have to earn everything that is considered valuable to us. So make sure that your savings long term, make sure that you aren't spending as soon as you get it, make sure that you're being sound with your dollars. And being able to say, I can shop at different places, I can downgrade in certain areas if I need to, I can cut out certain expenditures, I don't have to do all of these expensive things. And again, if you are single, childless, like start working extra, get a second job, a second side hustle, get something else going for yourself that's going to put a little extra in that bank for those savings. There are calendars and calculators that should show what you have saved or what you should have saved by the time it's time for you to retire. start looking at it as early as your teens and your 20s, because that time is going to come quickly. And if you aren't saving or have a savings that's going to be on pace with that, it's going to hurt long term, because what that means is your job and education probably aren't allowing or affording you enough to save just off of your earnings through employment. So you're going to need something extra. And even if there is Social Security, I'm not sure what that's going to look like in the future for anybody watching this, but if it's not going to be what they say it is, then that's going to be a problem as well. So we want to make sure that we are going to be able to be sustainable in a way that, if we have to do it by ourselves, that we can make that happen. Now, if you can team up with somebody, young guys, if you can 2-3 people get into a house or an apartment, split the rent and save that extra, that's a win. That's a real sort of win. I've known guys who've done that, who had children young and they were on child support, and it was a way that they made it work until they were able to basically get out on their own. So there's nothing wrong with that, and I think that that's a smart strategy. It's tribal. It's the same way if you came across a tribe of people out in the wilderness. Well, it takes a village. So if it takes some people to build the huts, it takes other people to create the weapons, it takes other people to go out and hunt. So it's all to the benefit when it comes to pooling resources. And if you do that with a significant other, somebody you're involved with on an intimate basis, just be careful. Even in marriage, protect your assets, protect what it is that you came in with, and have an understanding of what it is you may exit with. I know sometimes that's a gloomy sort of thought that this could end or something like that, but it's no different than, say, a will. Like, nobody wants to think of themselves dying in their 30s or 40s or whatever else, but it happens, and it's better to be prepared rather than wish you had done something by the time it comes upon you. So I'm going to leave it at that. Guys, what are your thoughts on this? What's your ace up the sleeve, your advice, comment, experience when it comes to this? I would love to hear from it, and hopefully this is a conversation that we can get other people involved in the chat. We can read each other's commentary, experience, suggestions, and go from there, and respectfully give our opinions as well. So this is where we do less with the channel. Listen, engage, subscribe, and share. The subscriptions are free, and sharing just makes you an awesome friend for giving something like this out. So hopefully this finds everybody in a place, pursuit, or beginnings of total health, mind, body, and soul. And we'll see you guys very soon. Peace, love, unity, solidarity.